The year was 2017. The town Firestone, Colorado. A seemingly ordinary day turned tragic when a home exploded, killing 2 and injuring others. The culprit? A leaking abandoned oil well located just 178 feet away. This incident shone a harsh spotlight on the hidden dangers of millions of abandoned oil and gas wells across the United States. The Firestone explosion revealed a chilling reality. The legacy of our energy past could have deadly consequences in the present. The well had been improperly sealed, allowing methane gas to seep into the home. The resulting blast served as a tragic wake-up call about the risks posed by these forgotten remnants of the oil and gas industry. The incident in Firestone was not an isolated event. Across the country, communities face similar threats from leaking wells, often without knowing these wells exist. Abandoned wells can contaminate groundwater, release harmful pollutants, and scar landscapes. The Firestone tragedy compels us to ask, how many more communities are living on borrowed time? The answer is a sobering one, demanding immediate attention and action. The United States, a nation built on oil and gas, is now grappling with the consequences of its energy history. Millions of wells, drilled over decades, have been abandoned, leaving behind a legacy of potential environmental and public health hazards. The scale of the problem is staggering. According to the Environmental Protection Agency, there are an estimated 2.1 million unplugged abandoned oil and gas wells scattered across the country. These wells are not evenly distributed. States with long histories of oil and gas production such as Texas, Pennsylvania, West Virginia, and California bear the brunt of this legacy. However, abandoned wells can be found in nearly every state, often in close proximity to residential areas, schools, and water sources. Many of these wells were drilled before modern regulations were in place, leaving limited documentation about their location and condition. This lack of information poses significant challenges for identifying and addressing potential risks. Even when wells are documented, tracking down responsible parties for plugging and remediation can be difficult, if not impossible. Abandoned oil and gas wells pose a multitude of threats, often invisible to the naked eye. One of the most concerning risks is methane leakage. Methane, a potent greenhouse gas, is a major contributor to climate change. It is estimated that leaking wells release millions of tons of methane into the atmosphere each year, exacerbating the climate crisis. Beyond climate change, methane leaks pose immediate safety hazards. As the Firestone tragedy demonstrated, even small leaks can lead to dangerous accumulations of gas, creating a risk of explosions and fires. The colorless and odorless nature of methane makes it difficult to detect without specialized equipment, increasing the potential for undetected leaks. In addition to methane, abandoned wells can release other harmful substances including benzene, toluene, ethylbenzene, and xylene, known as BTX. These volatile organic compounds can contaminate groundwater, posing serious risks to drinking water supplies and human health. Exposure to BTX has been linked to various health problems, including respiratory issues, neurological disorders, and cancer. Plugging abandoned oil and gas wells is a complex and expensive undertaking. Remediation involves injecting cement or other materials into the well bore to seal it permanently and prevent further leakage. The cost of plugging a single well can range from tens of thousands to hundreds of thousands of dollars, depending on the well's depth, condition, and location. Given the sheer number of abandoned wells in the U.S., the total cost of plugging them all is astronomical, estimated to be in the hundreds of billions of dollars. This financial burden falls heavily on taxpayers, as state and federal governments are often left to clean up the mess left behind by defunct or insolvent oil and gas companies. The logistical challenges of plugging millions of wells are also immense. Identifying and locating undocumented wells, accessing remote locations, and securing the necessary equipment and expertise require significant time, resources, and coordination among various stakeholders. Despite the scale and complexity of the abandoned well crisis, there are glimmers of hope emerging in the form of initiatives aimed at addressing this daunting challenge. Non-profit organizations, such as the Well Done Foundation, are working tirelessly to plug orphaned wells, often partnering with landowners and local communities. On the governmental front, the Bipartisan Infrastructure Investment and Jobs Act, signed into law in 2021, allocated $4.7 billion to plug orphaned wells nationwide. This historic investment represents a significant step towards tackling this long-neglected problem and mitigating the associated risks. Several states, recognizing the urgency of the issue, have also implemented their own programs to address abandoned wells. These programs often focus on providing financial assistance to landowners for plugging wells, conducting research to identify and assess risks, and developing innovative technologies for remediation. The abandoned oil and gas well crisis is a complex and multifaceted challenge, but it is not insurmountable. Addressing this issue requires a sustained commitment from all stakeholders, including government, industry, and the public. Continued investment in research and development is crucial for developing more efficient and cost-effective methods for identifying, assessing, and plugging abandoned wells. Strengthening regulations and enforcement mechanisms can help prevent future wells from being abandoned and ensure that companies are held accountable for the full life cycle of their operations. Public awareness and engagement are also essential. Educating communities about the risks posed by abandoned wells and empowering them to report potential leaks can help prevent tragedies like the one that unfolded in Firestone. The legacy of our energy past demands our attention. By working together, we can mitigate the risks posed by abandoned wells, protect our environment, and secure a safer and healthier future for generations to come.